Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. I think that my audio is now working. It appears to be working. I can check it out. Hello, hello. All right, it's working. So, thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays on YouTube, where I go live around 4 p.m. Central Time. Or outside of the YouTube live streams, you could consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. A lot of times people ask me what meals or what food am I eating to help me with my weight loss, and that Pinterest board is a great place to get some recipe ideas or to see the food that we are eating. Today is day 782 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 235 pounds so far. I have just over 20 months left to go on my challenge. I'm very excited to reach my goal in 2023 and live out the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well too. If you are struggling with your diet, what's causing your struggles? If you're succeeding, let us know what you're doing to succeed. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are going to do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Go ahead, switch over here. Few people checking in: Cindy and Christy and Pretty Girl's mom and Rick and Plants Only Muncher. Hello, hello. I hope you all had a wonderful day or wonderful past 24 hours since I've updated. I feel horrible right now. My nose or my sinus or my whole head just feels a bit congested. It's been that way all morning. I've got a bit of a sore throat as well too, or not all morning, all day. I've had this kind of been blowing my nose constantly, and I feel like I could continue to blow it more and more and just keep getting more out. So I've been kind of dealing with that all day, but other than that, things have been going pretty good. I've also been kind of dealing with the injury to my arm. I'm going to do have a follow-up appointment with the doctor tomorrow morning, and we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I will go ahead and go over food real quick here. Let me see about right here. There we go. So this is a photo from dinner last night. This is a meal that we have actually not had in a while, but it is really one of my favorite dishes. This is chickpea tikka masala. Like I said, it's not a meal that we have a lot of. I think it has to do with the coconut that's in it, or there's something from coconut in it. But we had that for dinner last night, and it was really an awesome dinner. I took a couple photos. Here's a little bit of a close-up photo. And then this morning for breakfast, we had our standard oatmeal with mushrooms, onions, and spinach. Again, kind of something that we have every day and I never get sick of. And then for lunch today, we actually had something new. Carrie had made a chili that we had for lunch, and this was a really good chili. Lots of vegetables in there. Obviously, you can see there's a wide variety of different types of beans and corn and lentils. Carrie cooked this for hours and hours trying to get the lentils to soften up. And there's all my photos. And so then one of the things I did here was Carrie actually gave me the idea. I saw her doing it, but we had a bunch of potatoes at work as well. So I took a russet potato and I mixed it in with the chili that we had, and it made a great meal, and I really enjoyed it. It was a chili that we had not had before. I don't believe Carrie ever made it before, so it was really good, and just threw a russet potato in there to just give it a little bit more volume. Tennis and yoga girl, hello. I hope you had a great day. But that's really been the food for the past 24 hours. Um, I don't I don't know if I'm going to be on here for very long today. Like I said, I'm not feeling very good. Uh, and it's been a busy day. Just trying to get things ready for the holiday weekend. But something that I did want to talk about is getting started and not continuing to push off what you're going to do. And um, I know that, the idea of getting started uh, on December 22nd seems crazy. Why get started on anything? Rick here says everything tastes better with potatoes. Yes, everything does taste better with potatoes. But yeah, getting started now, and what's the advantage of continuing to push it off? Like that's something that um we we convince ourselves that we're going to be able to do it down the line, or we'll be able to start on Monday. We'll be able to start, after the new year. But the psychology of that and the constantly failing to get started it weighs on you over time. And I think that kind of what eventually happens is what happened to me is that you just quit even considering getting started, because it's just become such an old kind of loop that you got yourself into, is that you're going to get started, and then when the time comes to get started, you find some excuse to push it down the road. Oh, well, we know we have that one thing this weekend. I would hate to get started before that event, or it's going to be too difficult to be on a diet when this next event happens. And it's never going to be the right time to get started. It's always the right time to get started, I guess, is what it is. What you need to realize is that if you keep living in that old mindset, that you're never going to be ready. You're always going to find an excuse to wait or not get started. But in reality, it's so much better to just get going and quit putting it off. Um and even if it's not maybe being 100% right away, or getting it getting all the way into it 100%, but get stuff going, get working on it. And there's a lot of things that outside of diet that can make a difference to, taking care of yourself a little bit more. I really feel like that's something that was what helped spark a change in me, was that because I didn't just get started, like I planned out my start. I decided to get started on November 1st of 2020, and I planned out how I was going to get started, or what I was going to do. But even part of that process was me getting started, and maybe I didn't start the diet part of this whole thing I'm doing, but I started the getting the equipment, or setting things up, or trying to figure out a format. Um and when so many times in the past, when I would set a future date and I would say, okay, January 1 is going to be my day, I wouldn't do anything until January 1. And then when January 1 came rolling around, then I was supposed to all of a sudden know exactly what I was going to do. And something that changed, that I did differently this time, was that I did set a date to start. I said November 1st, 2022 or 2020, but it didn't just wait for that day to come up. I started working on things to put in place a system that was going to benefit me, and that would ultimately help me stay on my diet. Um and again, it started before November 1st, and it started maybe even before I really started to do this channel. Like I realized how heavy I was in March of 2020. I didn't really do anything about my weight, but I did start to take care of myself a little bit better that following summer or going into the fall. And then I ended up buying the Garmin watch that I wear here that tracks my heart rate and my steps. And that really helped kind of help me see what was happening with my heart rate and how, I would go from having kind of a fine heart rate to just skyrocketing with doing the littlest tasks. And, it wasn't intentional that buying this watch would bring that to light for me, but that is what ended up happening. And that kind of helped me push to get going and get this started. And so when I'm saying get started today, even if you don't start with the diet today, you need to start with the planning. You need to start making the changes and the start building up the process for how you're going to succeed, because none of us, or it's very difficult to succeed when you walk through everything blindly and when you don't know exactly what you're going to do. Pretty Girl's mom here said that you recently had RSV, that the respiratory virus that's going around, and my symptoms sound like hers. Yeah, I know a lot of people are getting sick. And I've had family, sorry. I've had family that was talking about that today. We kind of, but yeah, it's just kind of crappy today. I didn't feel bad at all yesterday, and then today I feel crappy. Hopefully I get over it soon or quick. We'll see how it goes. But I've been really trying to get the mucus and the phlegm out. Carrie here checking in says she's doing some last minute Christmas shopping, but she is listening. Yes, she's also texting me while I'm doing my stream to ask me questions, which is fine. Cindy here says that she agrees with me that the planning leads to consistency and then ultimately success. Yes. And when I look back and I realize, like in 2018 or 2019, I can't even remember what year it was now, but it was the first time I decided to do a long water fast, and I water fasted for 30 days. I had gone from like 480 to 420 pounds. And I really thought I had figured something out with the water fasting. I was amazed that I was able to do it and that I had succeeded. And I really felt like I had it figured out. But what I didn't do while I was doing that fast is I never planned on how I was going to eat after the fast, and I think that that's kind of what a lot of us do, is that we look at the first 2 months and we're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the next 2 months. I'm going to eat this keto diet, or I'm going to eat this particular way. And you are only looking at it, like I said, just what you can see in the future, kind of just the first couple weeks or whatever. But when I did that water fast, I didn't plan, I was like, I'm going to do keto when I get done. And that's all I did. That's all I didn't make any plans for how to eat keto. I just, in my head, was like, I'm going to eat a keto diet. And within a week of finishing that water fast, I was eating fast food again. And it didn't fix anything because I didn't do any planning. I just went into it blindly and came out of it just as blind as I went in. And so I do have to say, I did go into the fast this time a little bit blind, but my goal from the start was to spend the time while fasting researching diet and what I was going to do when I got done, because I knew, or I could see, that is where I screwed up the first time, was that I had no plan for when I got done. So that's why I spent the first 20, 30 days of my 20 days of my water fast trying to figure out what to do until I found out about True North and the Pleasure Trap, and then that totally redirected everything. But it was kind of, things went how I planned for them to go, as I was going to go into this fast, and while I was fasting, I was going to research the diet I was going to eat on the way out. And for me, the greatest surprise is that I'm still eating the same diet today as when I finished my water fast, because I didn't know that that was going to be the case. You know, I was just going to, um, uh, I thought I was just going to kind of go diet, you know, kind of jump from diet to diet until I found something that worked for me. And I'm so fortunate, or I feel so fortunate, that the first diet that I picked up on, I guess, is the one that I've stuck to. Um, Carrie's calling me out because I passed out uh, on the couch last night, very tired. And then Rick says it only took him 72 January 1st to get started. Yes, but you got started, everybody says. Yes. Um and even if you decided that January 1st is going to be your day, what does that mean? Like, does that just mean that you're just going to figure it out on January 1st? And how could that possibly succeed? And has it succeeded for you in the past? And if it has succeeded for you in the past, then why are we even talking about it on this January 1st? You know, because obviously it hasn't been sustainable if you're looking to start something. But even if you are picking a date a week or 10 days from now, you got to start putting the pieces together. You have to start creating an environment where you can succeed. It's really the thing I talk about at the beginning of every broadcast, is what are the things that you're going to do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? And it will make getting started can help. You know, that's something that I've actually talked about in the past, is that I started this challenge. It's 519.8 pounds. 519.8 is not the heaviest weight that I've seen on the scale. I've seen the scale as high as like 525, and I could have been heavier than that. But that's when I first got my scale, and my just getting ready to start this channel, I lost 7 pounds because I was really active trying to or not really active. I'm sorry. I was, in comparison to what my activity level was before, I was much more active. But, and so just in the process of getting started, I lost weight because I was in such a bad spot. I could not have, like, anything that caused me to become a little bit more active or to get away from the table for a little bit longer was going to cause me to lose weight, because I was really at the maximum of what I feel like I could have possibly been. And Rick here says, but every day is a new beginning too. Yes. Every day is another day to stay committed to your diet and to stay on it. And one of the things, and I don't know why that comment sparked it for me, but one of the interesting things that pops into my head is that I am 283 pounds. And so anybody that meets me from this point forward, and I'm going to eventually reach my goals, but especially when I get down to 220 pounds, and anybody who meets me at that point, like the first time they've ever met me, they will never have a memory or a vision of me being a 520 pound person. And, granted, things go right, I'm not even halfway through my life. And so I spent all this time in my head about how everybody just thinks of me as a fat person, and I am just this fat person. But by the time I reach 70 or 80 years old, that won't be the memory people have of me, or that won't be what people think of me when they think of me. There may be some people that, they hadn't seen me, that they only knew me from college or from, my 30s. But for the most part, the people that are going to be around me or see me the rest of my life are going to see me at a healthier weight than I was for the past 20 years, which is just crazy. And it's this almost weird, like, like, uh, how long do I have to be past it before I have to worry about it? Before I'm no longer that person, because like I was, I'm still obese right now. I'm still overweight at 283 pounds, but at 520 pounds, it was just a whole different level. And, um, and there was a lot of people I've met at that weight that, may only remember me there, but like I said, anything going forward is going to be just a healthier version, like the healthier memory of me than they've ever had before. So I don't know. I kind of got going off there, but um, I'm not sure if I'm going to be on tomorrow or again before the holiday weekend here. But I hope everybody has a great holiday weekend. If you're traveling, be safe while you're traveling. If you're somewhere where it's cold, try to bundle up because it's freezing around here. Cindy here's asked me, do I find myself thinking of yourself differently now that you've lost all of this weight? Yeah, there is kind of this mental adjustment that has had to happen, or that is starting to happen, because I've reached this weight. Like, and I felt better and I felt great at 300 and 310 pounds, and things were improved, and I had a better self-image of myself. But just that additional 15 to 25 pounds to get down to what was such a milestone weight for me. Like 285 is a weight that, um, from the time I was 18 years old, I've been chasing, trying to get to that weight, and or lighter. And so now that I've reached it, and that I'm there too, like I'm not just like reached it and then I'm struggling to stay under. Like I've reached it, and every day that I've got on the scale, I've continued to be at that weight or lower, and that is really a huge mental lift for me, that I've been able to achieve it. And I'm looking forward to it being a distant memory too, like getting down to 275, then 250, and then 225, like those are big goals for me. And uh I'm really excited as I get going, as I get lower and lower, just how much better I'm going to feel, because I feel so different in my own skin. My clothing fits awfully horribly now. Carrie was giving me a hard time about that earlier, but so my clothing doesn't fit better, but I feel better in my own skin, which is great. Um, but yeah, it's Carrie says Merry Christmas. Pretty Girl's mom says Merry Christmas. And the rest of our family, yes. I hope everybody does have a great weekend and stays safe. And stick to your diet, Hey, I know it's tough and there's temptations all around us, but kind of look at some of the things that I've said, or maybe some of the things I've said, or I think Chef AJ in her book The Secret to Ultimate Weight Loss, she talks a lot about traveling. There's some great advice in there, but my biggest recommendations are going to be, when you have food that you can eat in abundance so that you're always full. So when you can eat as much as possible, and try to have food in your future. Have something, even if it's, I have Lara bars in the car from when we go home, or I have potatoes ready when I get home, or I have, I'm like I said, have something in your, have a plan for when your next meal is, so that while you're faced with that temptation, you can have that to look forward to. And if you can, you know, find a way to eat or to avoid it the best as possible. Anyways, Merry Christmas, Cindy and Rick and Christy and Pretty Girl's mom and Carrie, everybody, Rosemary and Sonia, everybody who's follows along. I'm sure there's all kinds of you that I've missed, but you guys have been really incredible for my whole transformation, this whole process. And I know I say it all the time, but thank you guys very much for your support. I am looking forward to the next 10 months and finishing up this challenge and reaching my goals. And with your guys' support, I know I can do that. So you guys all have a great holiday weekend. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos, make sure you do that. If you have not hit the thumbs up and commented down below, what are you waiting for? And finally, if you've not started your diet yet, get started now, guys. I know the holidays coming up, but start the planning process. Start not just saying that it's going to be this day. Say it's going to be this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to start by this, and I'm going to put this in place. Don't just make it a passive thought. Take some action towards starting your diet today. So you guys all have a great evening and weekend. I will talk to you later.